Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So in this video, we're going to do a few mixed media techniques. Now, I'm going to show you a few things you can do, and these are background. We're going to concentrate on backgrounds in this one, just real quick. Things that you can do very easily if you are a beginner, or if you are just somebody who, maybe you have an ATC swap, or, these can be used in our journal pages as well. Background. Um, so these are just really cool little, tips that I hope help you when you maybe are stuck. So first, what I want you to do is to grab a piece of cardboard, an old credit card, plastic, something, that you can scrape with. And then I'm going to do just some, basic colors. So I'm going to take, matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this sideways so I get more, I can work on the whole thing. So I'm just going to do a little squirt. And again, this can be for your art journal pages, your ATC cards. It could be for anything that you need a background for. These are fun to do on big canvases too, because, you just have a lot to work on. And if you want to be fancy, think about this for a minute. Blue and yellow make green. So you could put those together. So if they mix, um, you get green in there as well. So, and then we'll do just a little purple. But right now it's just really, I just want to show you this. Okay, so you have those. Let's say it's an ATC card, whatever it is. Take your old credit card or plastic or cardboard, whatever you have, and scrape it. And then you can see on here that it is, we still have some on there, so you can go to the next part and scrape it. And scrape it. I like this. I like how it picks up the texture of the watercolor. I mean, of the acrylic on the paper. But then look, you have this cool background. So like I said, you can do it in, maybe you want to do it in green and white, or purple and white, or yellow and orange, or blue and orange, whatever. It's whatever you want. And if you really want to play around, scrape it the other way. And see, I dig this. I'll dig it. But that's a real quick background. Now, I can, like I said, this is watercolor paper, so I can cut it out in 3.5 by 2.5 pieces here and get probably 4 ATC cards here to work on. This would be my back. So that is look how fun that is. Oh, the kids would have fun doing that too. I'm always about doing stuff with the kids. Okay, so next, I'm going to take a little bit of water on my watercolor paper, and I'm just going to wet it a little bit. And then I'm going to take, what color do I want to do? Maybe I'll do purple since it's a little darker so you guys can see. And whatever this is, I'm just using a little bit. You use, I might have used a little bit too much water, but that's okay. So I'm just going to paint my purple or whatever color. As you can see there. Now I'm going to take a paper towel. You could take a piece of saran wrap, a piece of wax paper, whatever you have. This is what I have sitting here. And I'm just going to take a piece of it, and I'm just going to touch it on there, soak up some of that water. And then you start building some texture. Look at that. See? It's a little bit of texture. Now, obviously, it's sinking. I used a little bit too much water, but it's not going to hurt anything, because what I'm going to do is go back over it to do another technique. Let's put some more purple. Now my brush is dry. I don't want it to be, see how different, how opaque it is. Looks blue on there instead of purple, but hey, it's all going to be fine. So now what I'm doing is I'm Okay, so you see, let's say this is our background or our ATC card, whatever it is. And now I'm going to take a stencil. Now I'm going to use this stencil. You use whatever stencil, you have or that you want to use. I'm just using this because it's big and you guys can see it. I don't know if these have parts. I should cut this. I like cutting these. But I'm just going to lay that down. And then I'm going to take a little bit of water and just squirt the outside. Take a paper towel. I'll just keep moving it. Like that. And then I'll lift it up. And look at that. We have a great background started. And then you have this little extra here that you can just go down here and kind of press off. Maybe on a different ATC card or another piece of your art journal. And you'll see you'll get the opposite, Now, I never wipe these off, but, everybody keeps yelling at me. I really don't. I don't have the time or the patience. So you see how, gorgeous this looks. Now, you can do this with a million colors. You can even do it with something if you're doing like this. And then take the, the dots off or whatever stencil you're using. Now, look. Use a bigger kind of stencil. It doesn't have to be this big, holes or whatever, but you don't want one with a lot of detail because it will be harder to take them off. You'd have to, really work on it to take it off. But look how cool that is. And now, that's an ATC background, or that's, now you can put another color. Maybe you want to do pink here and take the dots off and so forth and so on. And then you have a really cool background. So that is for that. Just want to dry this real quick, not all the way, because I will save these and use this as a background or an ATC card or whatever. And if you have smaller, smaller dots and that kind of thing, how cool that would look, right? Okay, so then, what was the other thing I wanted to show you? Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you was that the colors, I wanted to do the turquoise. Oh, I know what the other thing was. Okay, so I got asked, excuse this arm of mine, about mixing texture paste. That isn't there an easier way that you can put, use your texture paste. So, what do I have on this side here? Okay, so if you have texture paste, now this is white texture paste, but this is modeling paste, molding paste, whatever your little heart calls it. This is what this is. So what I like to do, if I want to mix the color on here and I don't want to put it down and then have to paint it, is mix the color that you want with it. So I'm just going to rinse this brush off and take some. Now I'm going to use my dirty, I'm only going to use a little bit though, my mat that needs cleaned so bad. And this is just folk art texture paint in Snow White. But again, use whatever you have. I'm going to use a coastal blue from folk art. I'm just going to put a dab or two. You don't need too much. And then I'm going to mix it. And if you have a palette knife or anything like that, use that to mix it. I use whatever I have. But look at that. And I move my brush. If you're using a brush, do both sides, so any extra color comes off. And then I don't know if I have my, yeah, there it is. Excuse my arm one more time. Talk about being prepared. That's me. Okay, so then you have what you want. You take it, you scrape it up, and then you lightly, the more you go over it, the bigger chance you have of, going underneath or whatever. So then Look at that. Then you have your color already on your texture paste. So, you know, that works fantastically. Or you just take this, maybe you want just to have swipes in little places. And then you can swipe it and look how you get this great, great texture. That's a lot of fun. And like I said, there's so many different things. I mean, it's on my paintbrush. You can use it for hair. You can use it for a dress. You can use it for shoes. You can use it for anything that you want. Just make sure you rinse your stuff when you're done, because that stuff dries and you're in trouble if it's on your brushes or anything like that. So isn't that cool? So that's just a few things that you can do. You know, if you're doing mixed media and you're trying to, you know, come up with a few little ideas, this is one of them. And like I said, these are just three. Something else you can do. Let me tell you one last thing. Now I'm thinking about it. A white crayon. I've done this before, but if you take your white crayon, and it could be really any color, but white is what works best. And I'm just going to go like this. I'm just going to scribble it. I like that. And then I'll take a little bit of purple, let's just say. We will take our brush. I'm going to rinse it off. And then okay, and then once that dries, I don't want to dry it too much with this, but just so you guys will be able to see. And take paper towel. I like doing this when I'm doing distressed work. And then, remember, I just did scribbles, but underneath, it kind of lifts it up. It's like a resist. So if you can't, you know, if you don't have a resist or something like that, and that's all it is. And that's, like I said, now I can heat this a little bit more, the wax. You can use a candle. You don't have to use a white crayon if you don't have it. You just want to get to it pretty fast because it dries. The wax will dry down. But look how cool that is. And then for a distressed background or ATC, whatever it is, then you can do that. So yeah, let me know down below any of your tips so you can share them with everybody. And let me know what you guys think of this and if you've tried any of these. They're very simple. They're very easy, but sometimes we forget. And, you know, it's always fun to be reminded and to sit and play. So as always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battles somebody else is fighting. I love you guys so very much. Progress, not perfection. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.